garden. Stop squirming. Honey, peppercorns, bitter herbs, and fear. How delicious. Oh, little mouse, you're not from around here, are you? If you were, you would know why it means death to trespass here. Look what you've done. Look. Do you honestly think your worthless apologies will put back the roses you stole? You've ruined them. Give me one reason why I shouldn't eat you raw. You're a curious one. Most would be begging for their lives right now, but all you can seem to do is run your mouth about the plants around you. You truly are obsessed, aren't you? Yes, my garden is wondrous. I don't need you to tell me that. Do you think me unaware of what grows here? I designed this place. Don't look so surprised. Oh, anything. You'll do anything to make it up to me. Be careful what you promise, mouse. Perhaps I have a use or two for you after all. Yes, I'll let you keep your life. I'm going to let go of you. Don't run. There's no escaping me. I don't have to say what will happen if you make me chase you, do I? Good. Come with me. No, that tremor wasn't me. This house is quite old. This way. You sit. You speak as though you have a modicum of knowledge about plants and their uses. What were you planning to do with my roses? And I swear, if you say you were going to use them to woo someone, no, you wouldn't bother with love tokens or perfumes, would you? You know better. You're familiar with this particular cultivar, their potency, their rarity, their unique fertilizer. Peace, little mouse. I won't feed you to my garden. I have better plans in mind for you. But first, tell me why you stole from me. Tell me the truth. I'll know if you lie. Some fop in Marseille commissioned you to brew him some youth serums. Oh, my mistake. You're, what, indentured to him, then? So he's forcing you to brew him youth serums. Is this idiot unaware of the dangers of toying with such substances? Unbelievable. What happened with your first attempt? What ingredients did you use? How did you prepare them? Sounds like you followed the recipe down to the letter. And what happened to your elderly goat after you tested it on her? Wouldn't be the first time I've heard of such magic working a little too well. Let me guess. After you showed him the goat fetus, he put all the blame on you, rather than accept the truth about the serum's potency. How long have you worked under this cretin? 3 years. 5 minutes in his presence would be too long from the sound of him. Unfortunately, I've known men like your master. They'd bathe in boiling pools of shite if it left them with flawless skin. I almost pity you, Mouse. So you came here looking for potion ingredients. At least your motive is an original one. What surprises me is that you didn't try to escape the second he sent you away. You didn't have to sneak in here and risk your life for that man and his impossible whims. You could have stolen a horse and rode off to start a new life in Avignon or Paris. Really? Your research is so important to you that you'd willingly return to him? I suppose I wouldn't want to leave my books and notes either. And starving to death on the streets does sound marginally worse than enduring his company. Not that you look very well fed, scrawny thing that you are. I think I'll keep you. Yes, I like the idea of stealing you from him. And I could use a personal servant. You'll find me a much more agreeable taskmaster. I don't make unattainable demands, for one. While I can't provide you with a salary, I can ensure that while you work off your debt for the roses you stole, you won't have need of money. This house, as well as its grounds, is enchanted to provide its tenants with everything they could possibly want or need. Food, drink, a hot bath, anything under the sun. Unfortunately, as of late, the magic has begun to decay. I suspect the house itself is also crumbling. You'll recall that shudder we felt beneath the floor when we entered the foyer. While I can still reliably conjure simple ingredients for cooking or chopped wood for the fireplaces, I can no longer count on the magic to simply manifest my dinner or light the hearth in my study upon command. I see by the expression on your face that you require a demonstration. Observe, Mouse. House. Tea. look inside the teapot. Yes, a bergamot plant. There's even soil. How droll. The house tried to make me Earl Grey. When I attempted the same thing earlier this morning, I received a pot full of fresh stinging nettle leaves and no water. No, the house doesn't have anything against me. Though if you saw some of its other botched attempts, I wouldn't blame you for thinking so. It is simply confused. I sense it growing more muddled every day. I'll be blunt. I can't work under these conditions. That is where you come in. When you're not cooking, cleaning, drawing my baths, or tending to the house and its general upkeep, you will help me with my research. As I cannot, apparently, cure the house of its affliction, I've decided to focus on my own. Did you think I enjoyed wearing this form? For 8 years, I've dwelt here, alone, following every lead I can find to turn myself back to normal. When I ran out of spells and recipes for medications, I tried sacrificing animals to a number of different gods, all to no avail. I even tried summoning a demon or two. They were as dumbfounded as I. I believe you can provide me with a fresh perspective. I should like to try some new remedies again. You will, of course, have access to my library and notes, as well as my garden and some prime foraging spots in the surrounding forest. Watch your tongue, mouse. How I became this way is no business of yours. All you need concern yourself with is assisting me with my research. Of course, you are permitted to refuse if you prefer. I did say I'd let you keep your life. You may return to your freezing attic in Marseille and continue working for a self-absorbed narcissist with more money than sense if you wish. I wouldn't recommend it, though. I rather thought you'd see it my way. I don't need to know your name. If I need you, you'll know it. Call me Beast for now. It's what I am. Show me progress and I may give you my name. Dinner is at 8 o'clock. I will have roasted pheasant with new potatoes, spiced sausages, plum pudding, and red wine. Prepare whatever you like for yourself. I suggest you have a look around and let the house get to know you. No, I didn't misspeak. You should let the house get to know you. You have your orders. You may leave. Good evening, mouse. Sit with me. You smell of burnt food, and your heart is pounding. That doesn't bode well. I trust you've had ample time to explore my home adequately, at least. The kitchen, the library, the study. I thought you might like the conservatory. I often go there when I need to think. As a younger beast, I'd spend whole weeks in there, absorbed in my notes. Oh yes, You'll have to become accustomed to encountering extra flights of stairs that lead to nowhere, or the occasional door that opens to reveal a blank wall. It's the house's attempts at repairing itself, but as I said before, it's become befuddled. I can set things right again with specific commands, but I can't always keep track of all its meandering endeavors. It is a shame. In times past, I could open any door I liked and have it take me where I needed to be. It was marvelously useful, being able to step out of bed and walk directly into the kitchen or the garden, as I wished. It would be beyond foolish to risk such a thing these days, and I don't suggest you make any attempts either. At best, you might end up very lost, and then I'd have to look for you. I'd rather not dwell on worst-case scenarios. Once I entered the darkness of a storage room, and the door disappeared. It took me the better part of an hour to get the house to let me out. You needn't worry over much. If you can refrain from entering strange rooms or wandering down any new hallways, I'm sure this place won't digest you. Speaking of digestion, let's see what you've brought me. Mouse? What is this? I asked for food. Instead, I see before me some manner of bird that is miraculously blackened on the outside and yet raw in the middle, half-cooked potatoes, bits of withered leather for sausage, and... Is this the plum pudding? This charred lump here? I'm almost impressed. You managed to ruin everything except the wine. And that's warm. Explain yourself. I brew potions. I never said I was a good cook. Are you mocking me, you miserable wretch? I was kind. I showed you mercy. After you stole from me, I invited you into my home. How dare you even think to serve me this garbage? Get out of my sight. Get out! Wait, come back. I have 6 lavish guest rooms, and you've chosen here for your sleeping quarters. It's just as well I typically lack visitors. I'd have to warn them about the irksome mouse in my attic. No, I don't believe the house has ever replicated this room before. You should be relatively safe here. Of course, you should be safe almost anywhere in my home, provided you do as you're told and don't wander. I am glad you are comfortable here. At least this one will be an upgrade from your old attic. No holes in the roof, and I imagine you'll be privy to some breathtaking sunsets through that window. I have something for you. I remember it was difficult when the house's decline began, and I had to learn how to create edible food myself. This book will help. I trust that tomorrow's breakfast will show marked improvement, or I may just have to devour you. I jest, although I will say it's in your best interest that I am well fed. As you saw earlier, an empty stomach causes my temper to fray. I neglected to ask, what did you have for dinner while you were preparing mine? You found the last of the sourdough and cheddar, did you? The house didn't make that, actually. You'd know if it did. All it can manage for bread these days are sad, dense loaves that taste inexplicably of soap. Somehow, cheese still works. For now, anyway. No, that loaf was mine. Pounding the dough helps when I'm wakeful. No, it's fine. It would have gone stale if you hadn't eaten it. You needn't always forage for your food, though. I'm sure you'll get used to the oven and its little quirks in good time. Normally in the evenings I will require a bath and a nightcap, but I have too much to do tonight to spare time for it, so you don't need to concern yourself about that for now. I will leave you to your rest, Mouse. I suggest you don't stay up too late. Tomorrow, your important work begins.